I'm like a falling star, I burn alone. I've got a heart without a home. Underneath this empty sky, just waiting for a sign. And it seems to me that gravity has got its hold on me, but I'm about to break free. Mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Oh, mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Like a flare without a spark, a shadow wish into the dark. Far across the galaxy is where I dream to be. And it seems to me astrology has got its plans for me. I just gotta believe. Oh, mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Oh, mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Ooh, ooh, darkness, darkness. Ooh, into the light. Help me, help me. Mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Oh, mothership, take me home tonight. Help me find a way to turn this darkness into light. Darkness, falling star, I burn alone. Got a heart without a home.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Various kindred of the world, welcome to this prologue of World Tour by Night, Woke from Dreaming, here. As a reminder, Vampire the Masquerade V5 is a mature storytelling game, and therefore viewer discretion is advised. This episode is entitled Woke from Dreaming, and we set the stage in Paris, France. But first, we're going to allow our fellow kindred to introduce themselves for this game, starting with our very own guest player.
Hello, I am Ian E. Muller of Anna Gaming, and tonight I am portraying Vladimir.
Oh, it's my turn. And I am Ash playing the ever so trendy Gwendolyn von Vanderhilt, Toreador.
My name's Michelle Soulette, and I am your storyteller for this evening. So, setting the stage. Paris. The lights, bright in the cityscape. You wouldn't be able to see them over pictures or cameras due to the copyright laws that still claim Paris's lighting infrastructure to this day. But to those wandering the streets in person, the lights flickering, melodies playing in the air, set a scene of calm sereneness, but among the busybodies above ground. But below ground, we have two very unique kindred. One, Gwen, who has been carrying out her duties as a child with the utmost importance throughout the day. And we have Vladimir, forced into torpor for the past few years. Another night, calm and serene. Gwen, why don't you tell me what it is you are doing this evening?
This evening I am sewing yet another jacket that whenever Vlad gets up, he will have. She's done this for the past 2 years. Measuring length, cutting, sewing.
And I'm guessing the fabrics you have outsourced for this project are of the highest quality?
Of course, silks and velvets and satins.
Freshly pressed leather?
Yes, there is no cottons, there is no polyester.
No plasticky fake fabrics.
Oh no. Absolutely not.
That would be unacceptable, would it be? Now,
We tried once.
I'm just going to go ahead and make a quick rouse check for you for this evening, just to see how hungry you are. Your hunger remains as it was when you slept, so for the sake of this, you are still at hunger 1. The beast is sated at the back of your mind. It will never be fully quenched unless you perform a heinous act of killing a person. So that hunger will always loom there as you work, stitch by stitch. Do you use a sewing machine at all for this, or is it all hand sewn?
Hand sewn.
Oh, that is meticulous on the hands indeed. Speaking from experience.
Yeah, she's meticulously going through and stitching and pulling and stitching and
Occasionally you will feel tings or pains in your fingers, for they aren't able to develop calluses in your undead state as much as the calluses would help. So it's just consistent night after night of working your fingers till they would bleed if they could. And it's just another night. You work meticulously as if somehow you're hoping that just by doing this, by waiting, by being there, you would be able to be there when he wakes up.
if he wakes up, it's been 2 years. They're not supposed to sleep this long.
Do you mind just making a quick intelligence and occult check for me, please?
Yes.
Quick one, not too bad.
Yes, of course. Intelligence and the cult, so that would just be 2 dice. 1 success.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You do believe that this would be a long time for a kindred to be asleep, based on the amount of time you've been as a kindred, but you do know that the amount of time in torpor is directly related to their generation. That the more potent the blood, the longer they are asleep. And it is as of this point, the 2-year anniversary. Suddenly, Vladimir, with a start, with a shake, awakens. Now, Gwen, your one success is not enough to tell you what happens after one wakes from torpor. Especially if one wakes from torpor after a natural state of waking. Their hunger is at 5. Vladimir, I'm going to roll your rouse check. If this fails, it results in frenzy. It is 0 successes. And Vladimir awakes in frenzy. The beast, Vladimir's beast, is a soft and seductive voice, that of a caring matron. Vladimir, it's time that we fed. It is not good to wake up like this, my darling.
And he rises and immediately looks around the room, seeing Gwen not as his childer, but not even barely seeing her, more smelling vitae inside her. He stalks across the room instantly, reaching out, taking her by the chin, and immediately going to feed from her.
Gwen, do you resist?
No.
Because is an experience that of pain and pleasure. Vlad, I'm getting a weird loop of background noise. Okay, there it goes. I don't know where it came from, but it was just a loop of
Oh, weird.
the sounds of cars hitting the pavement above. That's how we're going to play it. So, as Vladimir takes your chin, exposing the veins on your neck, and bites, an experience both painful with pleasure. Vladimir could make this experience more gentle, but I'm guessing that he's not going to. For
Not in this
he
moment.
seeing you as less than and only. Now, how many points of hunger do you wish to take from Gwen?
3.
3 dots. Gwen, you start to feel something slipping away from you. The sensation of your fingers hurting, the pain starts to peel away as it's flowing from your hand. You feel yourself being taken.
Vlad. Stop. Vlad.
And it's as he continues, taking the second and the third. Your tongue starts to feel numb almost. Your eyes start to flicker, feeling like they're losing themselves. And then it stops. Cut off.
I'll come back.
Hmm.
I thought she was never going to wake up.
Gwendolyn, my flower. Where are we?
Well, when you were... I brought you to Paris. Because, remember, we'll always have Paris.
Yes, we will. Good girl.
Storyteller, what is my hunger at?
I will say that your hunger has increased from 1 to 3. As Vladimir's hunger has also reached hunger 3.
Better?
This still so muddled. And he seems still like groggy, out of sorts, warring with the beast inside of him.
And
Distracted.
that beast is a beautiful matron figure in your head. A woman who once loved you and whom you loved in return. Who has faint traits that are similar to Gwen. And you hear her voice say, "Sweet child, we shall take more soon. This one is no less than a mirage."
Paris. This is good. How long have I been asleep?
2 years. Today. 2 years. Today is when I opened the coffin that you laid in. The stake through your chest.
And storyteller, how vividly do I remember the events leading up to my torpor?
Right now, they are very hazy, very fuzzy. As if trying to focus on one particular thing is difficult. It's like when you wake up in the morning, haven't had your coffee yet, haven't had your water, the thickness in the back of your throat, your eyes are heavy.
Tell me, child. Tell me what happened leading up to your, shall we say, rescue of me.
Where to begin? Where to end? Well, Do you remember Isaiah? 1974.
Yes, I remember Isaiah.
You remember you killed him, right?
Necessarily, yes.
Necessarily because I was going to marry him.
Let's just say that there were things you weren't aware of at the time.
Things I wasn't. Well, anyway. Isaiah died, of course. And, well, sometimes specters are a thing.
So I'm told.
While you were gone, I fed.
And you do start to hear, like, almost as if it was a stray animal, start to walk down and wander in, giving you sign that the doors leading to the surface might not be as closed as you think. That's just the little paw sounds of an animal wandering through.
Yes. One moment.
And Vladimir, you see this dog. And they just look up with you with their chocolate brown eyes. And just walk away, making their way back up to the surface. Back up to the realm of people.
And I fed. I lost control. I never lose control, but I lost control. And I killed him. That is when Isaiah's specter, spirit, whatever you want to call it, wandered into. I don't remember his name because you know me, I don't remember names. Why would I? And well, he delivered you to the SI. In London. There's a whole lot more to it, but the gist of it is you were experimented on, and I thought that you left me because you wasn't answering your phone, and I tried calling you. I tried calling you so many times, and I couldn't get a hold of you, and I couldn't, and I tried, and I texted, and I called, and I got, and you see her getting really worked up and really.
I'm gonna roll just a quick little Rails check for you.
Go for it.
As you unconsciously activate Blush of Life to be able to hyperventilate a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Which you don't get any hungrier. You see that, like, her face starts to get blush. Her breathing, like she's actually breathing, is just.
And I wait. I'd sit there and let you get more and more worked up and upset and wait till just before you would be overwhelmed by it, and reaches out, cups your cheek. He's like, shh. My dear, I understand. I of course would have reacted the same way if you were taken from me. But you found me.
You were delivered.
I was delivered.
In a coffin. There was a I don't know, it's so complicated, so much happened. It was 2 years ago. But I brought you here to the.
And where is here? Where are we in Paris?
We would be in the catacombs.
At this point, that Vladimir, despite your grogginess and sleepiness, would realize, how did a dog get in the catacombs?
My child, how safe are we?
Well, I've been here for 2 years, and I mean, no one's ever wandered in or came by or have, it's been safe-ish.
Safe-ish. And, storyteller.
Yes.
I would like to activate a discipline.
Ooh. Which one?
I would like to activate clairvoyance.
Ooh, clairvoyance. Double-check my sheet. This is a Auspex ability.
Yes. Yes, it would.
Oh, and
Yes, you do have the ability to activate clairvoyance. I will make this roll for you.
Okay.
Essentially. Oh, I was about to roll you possession instead.
Well, if we're going that route. I suppose the dog hasn't gotten too far away.
Oh, and if you're worried about he comes and goes, I've named him Scrappy.
You may ask me 4 questions about this area.
How deep underground are we?
There are various staircases leading down to the surface level, but in terms of feet or meters, whichever unit of measurement you wish to use, it'd be no greater than a 10-minute walk to eventually make your way back up to the surface.
Okay. What? Vladimir, I assume, would be familiar with the catacombs, having lived in Paris for quite some time previously.
Yeah.
What part of them are we in? Is he familiar with it?
You have some familiarity with this as sort of being one of the upper levels of the catacombs. You haven't been brought too deep down, out because there's been some flooding lately. But you have been brought down to a below surface level. You're not in one of the various buildings that stands as sort of the opening.
Is there anyone nearby?
Yes.
And how busy is it within the vicinity as well as directly above us on the street level?
On the street level, there are people who walk by, take pictures, make their merry little ways. There are some tour groups touring around some of the parts of the city. There's the occasional city resident fed up with the tourists. Few janitorial staff who are cleaning up after this place. It seems like the staff meant to keep this place looking pretty have been doing a very good job keeping this place looking pretty. But it's a moderate level of busyness on the surface level. As for the amount of people currently in the catacombs, you are not alone.
And you have stayed here with me for the last 2 years.
I haven't left you but to feed and to get supplies.
This was a good place to bring me. Tell me, when I was delivered to you, you say I had been experimented on. How so? Tell me more about that.
Your veins were all black. I don't know what else they could have injected you with or done. I didn't see you for months.
Yes, the extent of the experimentation would be outside of Gwen's purview of knowledge. And in that, however, Gwen, did you ever change Vladimir's outfit? Is kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
where I'm getting at here.
Yeah. No, she would she would change him every day, basically.
Mhm.
He would be in different clothes because that's how he was. He was always in different clothes.
So you will notice that there have been various markings on his body that have slowly healed over the time of his torpor. It would be various blue and red veins that have come to the surface that faded with time. His skin having what appeared to be almost bruising, but it was a bright blue bruising, which doesn't seem like it would make sense for it. So something had to have been injected under the skin. But all of that has seemed to have healed by now. You watched it progress over the 2 years that you've been here, changing his outfit to the most fashionable styles.
But I've watched you heal. You're better now, right?
Yes, I feel things are hazy still, but I do feel better. Yes. And he reaches out and just kind of caresses your cheek again. I wonder. I once knew. It is good that you didn't take us further into the catacombs. Some of the denizens there are less than pleasant to deal with unless you are properly introduced. I wonder, there was a Nosferatu whose domain we may be technically trespassing in.
If we are, they never bothered me.
If we are, he may have come to investigate and seen me with you and left you alone. But no. Thank you, Flower. And he says that very sincerely. But he still seems very confused. Maybe he's just distracted, or maybe it's the haze of just returning from torpor, but something seems off about him to you.
Can I roll a wits awareness on that storyteller?
You may certainly try.
Okay. And I put my hunger in there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's
So you pick 3 red dice.
Okay.
And Vladimir, you do remember your foul would be the loosest term.
Friend. Full quotation marks.
Yeah. And You do know that he owed you a solid
Hmm.
for
Hope-
one reason or another.
Hopefully he doesn't think simply allowing her to keep me here undisturbed is making us even.
Only as much as him thinking you two are actually friends.
Perfect.
Please tell me how a messy crit works once, just real quick.
Welcome to the world of messy crits. Messy crits, you have options, of which I will give to you. You can choose to fail. Succeed at a cost. Those are your two options.
Just to see that it costs me, I get a compulsion, right?
Succeed at a cost will be relevant to what the storyteller.
Okay. Then I will succeed at a cost.
Succeeding at a cost. Oh,
Because why wouldn't chaos just take over?
so
3 messy crit.
as your, it would be 5 messy crits.
Oh, 5 messy crit. Okay.
Because if you rolled 2 star onks on
Yeah.
red dice, that'd
Yes,
be 5
yes.
successes.
Okay.
Oh, your own beast, which almost as an inverse of Vladimir's, has qualities that remind you of him. And as the voice speaks, how dare you question your own sire? His intentions, motivations are pure. You're just acting a little crazy, aren't you? And for the remainder of the scene, whenever you are to do something that would question your sire's intentions, the difficulty will be increased as your beast is gaslighting you. Your beast is gaslight gatekeep beast bossing you from questioning your beloved sire.
Dare.
How
But
dare.
you do like notice he's off his game a little bit. He's drowsy, he's distracted almost, but if he's distracted, it must certainly be by you because you must be the one that he's distracted by.
Of course. Of course it's me. Why would it not be? Why would a Toreador not think it's about them?
But you do know he's distracted by something.
Something on your mind, my love?
Simply trying to put some of the pieces together, my darling. All of the events were a bit muddled. You have never drifted into torpor, have you?
No.
It can be both an enlightening experience and a infuriating one. You remain aware of many things happening around you, but at the same time, it is the closest that we come to dreaming.
And what did you dream about?
Do you recall, perhaps a century ago, what Paris was like? The sights, the sounds, the people. Not so distant that it would be unfamiliar, but it's almost as if the events of today were laid on top of the events of then. And I remember things that happened, but it's through that lens. It's as if there was a filter across the screen. The bits and pieces are coming to me, but I have to parse who was involved and where things happened and what dialect of the language is even being spoken.
Sounds like a pain in the ass.
Eloquence, my dear. But no, it's...
I've been hanging around gangrels and brujas a bit.
How unfortunate.
I know. One of them smelled like a wet dog and it was horrible.
Speaking of wet dog, you see that dog make their way back.
Scrappy?
Scrappy makes their way back. And their eyes look around.
I'm going to take a look at the dog for a second.
Dog looks back up at you with the chocolate brown puppy dog eyes.
Is there any hint of a greater intelligence behind those eyes?
Yes.
Scrappy hasn't done anything. I mean, he's been coming here for the past couple of years. I do find it strange that dogs don't. This dog didn't cower away like most do.
Yeah. Would you say that his visits were regular?
Yes.
Frequent? On a schedule, perhaps?
Yes.
And you didn't find that to be strange?
No.
And he just pats your hand very patronizingly and then turns his attention to the dog. Just beckons for it to come closer.
The dog doesn't listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
The dog goes around to behind your coffin.
Mm-hmm.
Scrappy, why are you being so strange?
At this point, that a man walks out from behind the coffin. He looks like a regular, plain Jane old man. You wouldn't be able to tell him from any other old man on the street. Really nice to see you, old friend. And here I thought I was about to get some head scratches.
Your behavior is admirably deflective and yet predictable as always. Gwen, my flower, may I introduce? And I just gesture to him.
Oh, yes. You may call me Tomas. Oh, Scrappy has been the name I've been getting used to.
I've been scratching your head for the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He seems quite pleased by it.
Belly rubs are nice too.
I thought animals just liked me.
As I mentioned, I am familiar with the residents of these catacombs. Or at least one of them.
Yes, it's been quite some time, Vlad. Oh, brings me back to before.
Have you been keeping tabs on my young childer here?
Absolutely wanted to make sure she didn't go down too deep there. That's my house. Wanted to make sure she stayed off my lawn.
I've changed in front of you.
I'm not saying I didn't like it.
Please, Tomas, have a seat.
Besides, you're acting like I've never seen Vladimir naked either. And he takes a seat.
Unfazed.
She's completely phased.
I've been keeping an eye on her since she brought you down here.
Well, thank you, my old friends. Please, Gwen, as I said, Paris has been my home for quite some time, and you do not call a city home without becoming friends with some of the most important people in it.
Mm-hmm. That's my dear friend here, Vladimir. Used to do great things for this city, but then when we heard the word of his unfortunate accident, as we like to call it, we made certain that you two got here safely.
And you have
Thank you.
my utmost thanks for that. I don't know what I would have done without the two of you to keep a watchful eye over me while I slept. Tomas, could you do me yet another favor?
I can. Crazy young child, I owe this one a debt that needed to be paid in kind.
What is the current state of society here? What can we expect to find when we depart this lovely haven?
Are you speaking of the society in which we roam, or the society in which kind roam?
The important one.
Yes. We've heard whispers from my cousins around the world that things are changing. The worst. We've also heard word that those who wish to do us harm have been direct with their intent.
So I have noticed.
The Camarilla are standing as they do.
Go tell me, Gwen, does this line up with what you have found from your travels prior to bringing me here?
Yeah, it does. Very much so.
He just sits back, still in that state of trying to clear his head, but also thinking about what all of that means in terms of him and his own goals.
I only say this as a friend, lad. But I do not think things will be able to be calm like this for much longer.
When have they ever?
That is true, old friend, that is true. Now then, I should probably leave you two to catch up. Do what it is that you need to do. Oh. And I might need to kick you out my front lawn soon.
2 years is quite a long welcome to overstay, I am sure.
Yes, and some of the cousins want to make this room into a ping pong table room.
Yes, they do.
A ping pong table room? Why not a pool table?
Because the difference between the sounds echoing. What would you rather hear?
Neither, to be honest.
Yes, but the lesser of two evils is often the one we must choose. Isn't that right, Vladimir?
Unfortunately, in this case, yes.
Especially if one wishes to keep peace.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get going and let you youngins deal with all of this. I'm getting too old for this.
Just so we're clear, you don't get any more head scratches or belly rubs. Or the
Bullshit.
or the butt scratches. That's out. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
but the butt scratches are the best. Besides,
Well,
should I teach this young one final lesson before I leave? Always assume that there is a cousin in the room, especially when you're getting changed. And he goes, and he's starting, and you see him go disappear behind the coffin, and out comes an adorable little dog, making his way back up to the streets of Paris.
I mean, plenty have seen me naked. That doesn't bother me, but that's just, it's uncomfortable because there was no consent there. She says as she watches the dog go outside.
My dear, you should... You said you spent time with Gangrel. You should know better than to assume any animal that enjoys our company is suspect.
I do now. I never seen the gangrel turn into
It's quite a sight. What?
He did rush into my burning house and pull out a leather jacket though for me, which was quite idiotic, but kind. Oh yes, that's another thing I should share with you. The Sabbat was also a big thing over there, and they blew up all of my cars. You know, that was so sad. They destroyed my home. That was
Gifts
a
are
thing.
replaceable.
Yeah, well, Trixie was a special car. But I got the jacket out of it, so that's all that matters.
Good. Good. Tell me,
Anything.
what would you like to do next? As my old friend said, we cannot stay here much longer.
Well, we can go back. I think maybe we should stay away from London. Um,
that sounds like a good idea, yes.
but I do have havens here. Haven. We could always go back home. I think I should get in touch with my old group. Make sure they're still living. I don't even know what happened to them. Quite honestly, I haven't been myself for the past 2 years.
Oh, quite understandable. Perhaps temporarily we can side here, but I would like to see for myself what exactly is happening. I've spent far too long ignoring. No. He kind of dismisses everything he just said as if it didn't happen. The affairs of the kind have been beneath notice for far too long. I feel that perhaps it is time to pay a little bit more attention to what they are doing. My recent experiences are something I would like to not repeat.
I would much rather be turned to ash than have to watch this again.
Well, let's avoid that as well.
Gwen,
Yes.
it is at this point that your cell phone rings. It is a number you don't recognize. Seems to be an American phone number.
Oh god. I didn't even know I get service down here. And she'll...
How unfortunate, he says with disdain.
Well, yeah, I'm not a big fan of them either, but they're a great way of keeping contact. Okay. One moment, my love. Yes? Hello?
Hi, yes, good, time zone.
She'll put on speaker.
Hi there, yes, you're Gwen, right?
Who's asking?
Hi, yes, you don't know me, I'm really sorry for this is really awkward for me, my name is, Cassandra, I am the head librarian over at the Crimson Archive based in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, what a horrid place. Why are you calling me from there?
Nice to meet you too, I was wondering, is Vladimir available?
Do I know who this is?
You have heard word of the Crimson Archive being one of the largest kind and Canite houses of lore, and it's a massive library that has massive archives, and it's sort of become like an informational haven.
Some speakers.
I just extend my hand.
And she'll hand the phone over to him.
I take it off speaker and hold it up to my ear.
Oh, yes, is this Vlad? Yes,
Who is this?
I'm Cassandra, High Priestess of the Bahari, head of the library here. Unfortunately, you still haven't returned back your copy of the Book of Nod that you borrowed from me, and I was really hoping I could get it back. It's been 2 years.
Yes, my apologies. I have been, detained.
Oh, the rumors were true.
But as you can hear, I am more than capable of returning that item in due time.
I really appreciate it. This line is an encrypted line, so don't worry about that.
Oh, good.
I take all the care, but it took me forever to be able to find Gwen's phone number, because I know you don't like phones. You mentioned that last time you were here.
I do not. But yes, I will take care of that for you.
Great. I'm actually going to be in Italy very soon.
Italy? Perhaps, yes, that would be much more preferable than traveling to Los Angeles.
Oh no, this place is a dumpster fire, hands down, but I'm not going to tell Gwen that.
No, not at all.
I'm kind of packing up my things right now. We kind of have an issue here, and I'm getting a group together to take care of it. Essentially, when the Baron of the Valley tells you to run, you pack your shit and you get out.
Baron of the Valley. That is a quaint title.
Well, he signs my paychecks. So,
Excellent. Well, I think it is more than reasonable for us to meet you in Italy then.
great. Has Gwen told you about what's been going on?
Bits and pieces. I am still recovering.
Has she put like a magnet against you yet or anything?
No.
Anyway, I'm going to be making my way down there with a group of Kindred. We're all, I'm getting a crew together. You know, crazy. I'm sorry. But I'm going to be down there at some point, and I'm just trying to figure everything out because apparently, one of our mutual acquaintances has decided it's time for them to put all the cards on the table.
Interesting.
Nowhere is safe anymore.
Hmm.
And
This will
and
make.
you can hear the hesitation for her to say this over the phone.
Mhm.
As someone who's been where you've been, it gets better.
Well, I'm certain that regardless of what has happened and what is going to happen, it will make for interesting stories to tell. Which airport are you flying into in Italy?
Well, I've got to pick some people up in the middle of gosh darn nowhere. But then I will be making my way over to Rome. I've got someone I'm meeting there.
Excellent. We will also meet you there.
Do you need me to send you anything for accommodations?
Oh no, I'm sure if my
I can
own
take care of you.
Yes. I am more than capable of handling it. Thank you.
Remind her that next time she orders fabric to not put this phone number down.
I don't think it will be too much of an issue. And storyteller, I've
Yes.
been holding this phone for quite some time.
Yes.
Are there any issues with it?
Not right now because you haven't done anything.
Okay.
As long as you aren't actively trying to do something, there's no residual effect.
I don't think it will be too much of an issue. Thank you. And I will actually hang up at that point.
You do feel like you're pressing the end key a bit rough.
My love, you're going to break my phone. Can you please give it back?
I hand it back to her.
Thank you. Okay, well, who's Cassandra and what does she want? How does she know you?
An old acquaintance who I have borrowed an item of importance from and who wishes to have it returned and was not aware of the incident in full anyway. If I may remind you, child, when you make yourself available to the world, you will also open up an invitation for people to find you.
Well, I mean, Vlad, you know who I am.
I'm not talking about me. How do you think a stranger found your phone number?
Yellow Pages?
Be more careful when you order fabrics and supplies.
Since I faked my death, I should have been more careful.
That's a good girl. That said, we will be our Traveling plans have been made for us, it seems, by fate, and we shall be traveling to Rome very soon.
Rome,
Yes.
like, with all of the holy figures.
Yes. It is not preferable, but as you know, many of them are just as corrupt as we are.
I don't disagree with that, but you know what happens when a cross is thrown up. I'm just saying.
Oh, don't worry, dear. I will be there to take care of you.
I wish I could believe that, Vladdy. I really, really do.
And at this point, you start to hear the silence of the serene Paris, almost as if it starts like the echoes of tourism and everything starts to just fade away and just pull away. And it's at this point I think we should be able to take a quick break as the silence of Paris starts to envelop, which would be unusual for this time of night. So we'll be right back. We're going to give everyone a chance to take a breather, and you should too. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade, a world tour by night. Prologue, woke from dreaming. As we left our kindreds mulling over the news being told to them by multiple kindred regarding the Second Inquisition, the state of the world, and the state of undress that Scrappy had seen Gwen in at some point during the 2 years.
Multiple times.
Scrappy's a character. But the cities start to go quieter. Even what remains of the city light that could stream down into the catacombs seems to grow darker. Yes. Suddenly, a voice echoes down catacombs from the top of the staircase. Now then, I'm gonna give the two of you 2 options. You can come up now, we can come down and get you.
My child, do you recognize that voice?
I've never heard that voice in the past 2 years of being here. Or, you know what, storyteller? Have I heard that voice?
No.
Yeah.
But Vlad has.
Have I?
In the dreamlike state of torpor, you have.
Have you heard that voice before?
Storyteller. Am I able to place it? Am I able to elaborate on just
You
on
can-
that beyond
You
recognition?
can only say that you've heard that voice while in torpor. But you do not know when in torpor or where in torpor.
No, this is not someone who is familiar to me. And I think now is a good time to make our exit.
Catch me if you can. And I'm going to activate Fleetness.
And as you activate fleetness, you hear the sounds of metal hitting the stone staircases.
I'm going to just kind of smile to myself for a second. Silly child. And I'm going to activate split second. And wherever she is, I will be there first.
And you successfully are, as the both of you can only guess what this gaseous-like mist that appears from these canisters is.
And as we move out of whatever room we were in and through the corridor, and I move ahead of her, I am going to just take her hand and lead her deeper into the catacombs. And once we are a safe enough distance away, deactivate celerity. It's pause for a moment.
You do find yourselves in front of a large stone door. This is one of Scrappy's doors. In each of Scrappy's doors, as you know, Scrappy likes to put a mechanism, hidden or otherwise, to open it. These doors do not open normally without knowing how to open them.
Show off.
I think now is not the time to compare abilities, but And I'm looking at the door,
Mhm.
and I just glance over my shoulder back towards where we came from. Do I hear any other sounds?
You just hear hissing and metal clanging against stone.
It is
Yeah.
time for us to make our exit.
They won't ever let us be, will they?
Not as long as they know where we are or are still drawing breath. Says that last part with a little bit of emphasis. If I remember correctly, he's just kind of lightly tracing his hand over the door.
Mhm.
Storyteller, I would like to make a wits and insight roll to remember what I know about Tomas's.
Well, you rolled a critical success on this. An astounding critical success, might I add.
If I remember correctly, Tomas enjoys...
Each of the mechanisms revolves around something from Scrappy's own past.
Mhm.
And this one happens to be reminiscent of like back alley game of European football. And you move like the circular piece throughout different positions and eventually making it into the box like goal. And with that you feel it click into place.
Tomas, or Scrappy, enjoys games.
Oh.
And I will push the door open.
And the door opens. You hear heavy footsteps catching up. See the lights of floodlights being stationed where you previously were, eliminating shadows.
And I will usher Gwen through the doorway and then follow and shut it behind us gently.
Continuing down the line, when the smell of the stale air hits you, combined with what feels to be the smells of sewer.
Oh, come now. Some things are necessary. You'll grow used to it after a few moments. And I am going to attempt to lock the door behind us.
The mechanism immediately unsnaps from place as the sounds of rushing water come by. As you can see, this is almost set up like the chocolate river from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, only it's not chocolate. And there is a little boat sitting there.
Oh, your poor shoes. Oh, my poor shoes. Oh, the velvets.
Gathers his coat around him. Nothing to be done about it.
I'm really sick and tired of the humans.
One problem to be dealt with at a time. He
So there's a boat.
Climbs into the boat.
She'll like get his hand, like
Yes.
get in.
Yep, he extends a hand, helps her step carefully in.
Thank you.
And you make your way onto the boat. The boat rope unloops from its docking position and starts to sail you down the sewer river towards it. It seems to be also on a track. You can't control it, but it's on a track, like an amusement park ride. Please keep all hands and feet inside the vehicle at all. Like, it actually starts like a little speaker plays. Please keep all hands and feet inside the ride at all times.
They really like games, don't they?
Yes. Well, we are...
And amusement rides, it seems like.
Since we are along for the ride, we might as well get comfortable, and he settles down. Careful not to let any of the water splash in on him.
Click, 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 as the mechanism just starts. And like almost jolly music plays, like almost like It's a Small World, but without the copyright.
This is horrible, and this song is going to get stuck in my head. I liked him more when he was a dog.
My dear, yet another reminder. Don't talk ill about the Nosferatu if you can't see them.
I wasn't talking ill. I was just simply stating facts.
Tomas is a lovely gentleman.
And I believe that. He was also a wonderful puppy as well.
I'm going to activate heightened senses.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Please tell me it's not your sense of smell.
hearing. And I'm going to listen very carefully to the door that we just left.
Mm-hmm. You start to hear. As cracks start to appear in the stone.
Do I feel like the boat is moving fast enough to vacate the area before they break through?
You believe so. Gwen, what was that you wanted to do?
I was going to do Sense the Unseen.
Okay then, sense the unseen. You want to roll it out for me?
The what?
You want to roll? You have to roll for it if you want to actively spot something that is trying to remain hidden.
I just want to make, as he says that, like, is there any Nosferatu here?
Mm-hmm. So if you don't mind rolling a quick, I believe it's resolve and aspects, or wits and aspects, whichever
It
one's
is
greater.
wits. It is, yes, correct.
Yeah, so it's not very much. Let's see. God, that's so many hunger dice. God damn it. 2 success, possibly bestial.
So bestial fails in this case only occur when there's one skull and no successes, because otherwise bestial fails happen way too often and can derail a game.
Okay,
But that's
so then
fine. It's just a house rule. That is not
So-
the way the game is played. Was written. That is a house rule.
cool. Then 2 successes.
You don't notice any Nosferatu who might be lingering nearby, because you don't notice any, because if there were any, they might have rolled higher than 2 successes.
Any other specters? Because she would be paranoid about that.
None that you can see.
Safe on the specter part, at least.
Good.
And as both of you make your way down this boat, eventually, it does make its way towards the end. You do, with your heightened senses, hear the stone of the door just as
Wow.
someone makes their way through, surrounded in the red fog.
I almost feel sorry for them. Now they have to deal with Tomas. He will not be pleased that they broke down his door.
And as
Oh,
what's that, Gwen?
well, that's their problem now.
Yes, it is, and it is not ours.
No, I am starving, though.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure once this little ride stops, we can find you something to eat.
Well, you
Eventually the
remember
ride-
how I feed.
Eventually, the ride does stop. in this little alcove leading to a massive stairwell that would lead back up to the surface. As connected to various other hallways as well. And one thing that Vladimir will easily notice, because he knows this area very well, the surprising lack of rats.
Either Tomas is being tidier than usual, or he's quite busy right now. And I would like to activate clairvoyance again.
Very well. And I will let you know how many questions you get to answer. This time you will only get 2 questions because the security of this place has a higher difficulty level.
Are there any kine in the catacombs and hallways near us? Other than the one we came from?
Yes.
Are there any kindred?
Yes.
It should be safe for us to continue on.
Very well. Do I need to activate anything?
Just keep a watchful eye out. This area is, well, I would say less secure than where we just were, but...
I find it very amusing the second that you wake up that this all happens.
His demeanor changes ever so slightly. He's like, I find nothing about it amusing, but perhaps time will change that. And he starts making his way up the stairs carefully.
Gwen, your next roll will have an increased difficulty.
Yep. I am perfectly fine with that.
It has. So, do you want to head straight up, or do you want to go down further any of these hallways?
I'm going to make my way up, but I'm going to have heightened senses on, and if I hear anything from above us, including breathing, I'm going to turn around. Or use blink, one of the two.
As far as you can tell, there is the sounds that you hear from the top are the sounds of really nice made leather shoes. The scruffy sounds of old sneakers. There is breathing. However, it does not seem to be anything outside of the normal realm of human.
And are these people who are just walking around? Reversing by on the street?
You do hear the sounds of people walking on the street as well.
These are people who are in the catacombs, near the stairwell.
People who are near the catacombs are just the really nice leather shoes, the scruffy pair of sneakers, the sound of leather gloves being adjusted. You know, that like it's almost like a stretchiness, but not quite.
Okay. I'm going to just hold up a finger for Gwen to wait.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to continue moving forward.
Mm-hmm. And What Vlad finds once he reaches the top is his friend Scrappy standing at the top of the staircase with a woman who's wearing leather jacket, a tightly fit dress, really nice crafted pair of shoes, soft facial features with a light rouge makeup, square glasses, and light brown hair that just falls short and is a bit choppy on the edges. And the two of them appear to be having a conversation.
I If I look down the stairwell, can I still see Gwen?
No.
Then I will backtrack without making my presence known to Tomas and this woman, and I will motion for her to follow me. It is safe. And then I'm
When do you follow?
Yes, I follow. I didn't realize I was on mute.
It's okay.
And then I will walk back up and walk within a line of sight of those two people.
So this is your friend, Tomas? Oh, yes, indeed. This is my friend Vladimir. And his child, Gwen. Indeed.
Pleasure.
Tomas, who is a lovely friend of yours.
Oh, well, you see, we're not really friends. Just as much as we're not friends, Vladimir.
That's so.
Well, you see here, Monsieur Vladimir. Our arrival here was not mere chance or coincidence.
Excuse you?
I'm sorry, dear, the adults are talking.
Please, continue. Elaborate, if you would.
Well, you see, we did not expect you to wake up at all, Vladimir.
Didn't you? Why is that?
Oh, we had been told that people over at, what did they call themselves there in London? First Light? First Light. Much like a bunch of backwater little babies, if you're asking me. I was told that they had done away with you, done something terrible.
Storyteller, is this woman Kindred?
No.
Well, as you can see, the rumors of my demise are greatly exaggerated.
Oh. Hilary, as they say. I simply wanted to observe for myself. What is it exactly that they did to you?
And why would you be interested in this?
Who wouldn't be? Tell me, have you even told your child of what they have done?
She is aware.
And yet she still stays with you.
It's what one does.
If they have a suicide wish. But it looks like I have seen all I can see for today. Doesn't seem like Vladimir has totally become useless. Child, on the other hand, it might be.
Storyteller, I'm going to actively activate Daunt and subconsciously activate Shadow Cloak.
Okay. I'm going to make a series of checks for you. So, Gwen, the sight you see is one that you have never been able to fathom for yourself. Daunt is activated, creating the illusion of Vladimir being this bold, demonic self. Fear is drenched in his very being, anger. And as suddenly he takes a step forward, radiating from him, shadow-like tendril wisp from him. His voice, when he speaks, has shadows come from him, even from his eyes, should he be able to weep tears. Something Kindred are known as monsters. The abyss is the monsters that Kindred fear.
She steps aside and watches.
His voice dripping with not anger, but disgust. Simply says, "And you would do well to stay out of our way and forget everything about me." And I would like to use Forgetful Mind on her.
I was going to do the same thing.
Okay. I'm not going to roll.
Mm-hmm.
Because this character is immune to dominate.
Mm. Interesting.
And she simply looks back at you. Her eyes just narrow a little bit. Oh. And she reaches out her hand to touch you.
When she does, and I notice that she is immune to dominate, I am going to activate... I'm going to switch tactics here very quickly. Activate Lightning Strike. And
you can.
I'm going to shift behind her, rake the claw on my finger across her neck. Not enough to kill her, obviously. I'm not even trying to, but just to scar her.
Mm-hmm.
And then take off down the hallway, pulling Gwen with me. And past them, and away.
Okay. And Gwen, you can watch as cloaked in these shadows of the abyss, he flits behind this woman and slashes her neck as she collapses to the ground. Vladimir flits right back over to you, taking your hand, should you take it,
Oh, yeah.
and flits away with you, leaving Tomas there.
Well. As they're walking away, I'm going to turn to Tomas and look at him and say, disappear. And make sure no one ever hears from you again.
And Tomas simply looks at you and says, I would suggest the same for you, friend.
Just turn around and walk off without saying anything.
Mm-hmm. And as you two vanish into the night, a little aside, as the woman gets up from the ground, Tomas not helping or hindering her. She gets up and she touches her neck, looks at the blood. Little earpiece in her ear goes off. Observations? It seems that first light might have unleashed something worse. And the voice seems cold on the other line, as it simply speaks. You have done well for your service to the church. You are loved and beloved. And as you will pass on, know that we shall weep. And in the end, your sacrifices will never be in vain. And know that I love you from the bottom of my heart. And the woman, feeling, because the cut was dangerous enough for her, and she is not going to be able to get the medical attention she needs in time. She smiles. She simply says, I love you too, Mother. And that is actually a great point for us to end tonight. As the two kindred flee Paris. The Inquisitions of Europe, aware of Vladimir's awakening. Vladimir will, of course, escort Gwen to Rome, and will probably find his own way from there. Because at this point, Vlad, I'm going to roll a quick check for you to see if you realize something.
Mm-hmm.
The chances are very likely that you will.
She's gonna turn to him though at once they get to a certain point and just be like, "What was that about? What's that?"
You rolled a really. There are a lot of critical pulls here.
As there should be.
Vladimir, there are three things you are absolutely certain.
Mm.
One, their appearance tonight was not by chance.
Mm-hmm.
They picked the night that you would awake. And they have some reason to know. They have some method of knowing where you are and when you were out of torpor.
Interesting. I'll have to have that taken care of.
Number two, there are some humans out there that are immune to your abilities. Specifically, your abilities.
Also, how interesting. I have to see if I can do something about that.
And number three, they have some means of tracking you wherever you go.
And of course, it would be much safer if Gwen was placed carefully in the hands of her friends and far away. And to what you said, Storyteller, am I aware I even activated Oblivion?
You rolled really well on your rouse check.
I will deactivate Daunt and also subconsciously deactivate Shadow Cloak.
Vladimir is back to being that face you know, the face you believe in.
I've never had the need to intimidate or coerce anyone in front of you before, my dear. That is all.
How did they know?
I have my suspicions, and in order to confirm them, I will have to leave you for a short time. Do you have friends who can meet us in Rome?
You can't leave.
It is for your own safety, my dear. I will be placing myself in good hands. I have true friends I can reach out to.
But you're not gonna come back.
Oh, I will. Do not worry. I did this time, did I not? As long as it took. Remember, we have forever. They do not. And that is why I brought you to me.
Yes, I have people. Kindred.
And I am, before the scene closes, I'm going to take her phone and break it. You will need a new one of these.
Don't get hurt. I can't bear it. And she will cry. Red.
He will not say anything, but simply reach up and wipe away the blood tears with his thumb.
I'm not going to say goodbye. This won't be goodbye.
No, we shall see each other again soon.
Now boarding Flight 504, destination.
She gets on.
Travel to Rome.
The travel is calm and peaceful. They have you in first class,
Of course.
and by the time you reach there, you have but a few hours to find a haven, which you are able to do for the night, for the morning, to sleep, to dream. Be still. And that's where we will close Prologue. Woke from dreaming of World Tour by night. I'm going to give everyone one more chance to introduce themselves and where you can find them on the internet. Starting with our very special guest here today, who I humbly thank you so much for joining us.
You.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a long time coming. I received this invitation quite some time ago. I have been Vladimir, Vlad, Gwendolyn's sire. I am Ian E. Muller, founder of Gehenna Gaming. You can find me online at Ravnos on Twitter. And you can also find me as GehennaGaming.com or at Gehenna Gaming for all the stuff I do over there.
And I am Ashythebard on all social medias. You can find me almost anywhere, but follow me on Twitter and I will post things up But on the 21st, you can find me over at Blue Collar DM, as that's where I will be playing Juliet, another chaos hot mess of a character, at 8:30 p.m. EST.
And my name is Michelle Sealight, and I've been your storyteller for this evening. You can find me on Twitter at Michelle Sealight. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode over on the Bard's Playhouse. And remember, you are not a critical failure. Good night, everyone.
Night.